The story begins with the protagonist recalling his father's words, "Live for the clan." Those words echoed in his mind as he knelt on a blood-soaked battlefield. To live for the clan meant he was never to desire anything for himself, only to stand silently by his brother's side like a shadow. Blood dripped down his face as he knelt, surrounded by fallen warriors. A group of knights watched him in awe. One of them remarked how a single knight was holding off the strongest commanders on the entire continent. Alone. Yet not all enemies had fallen. A commander and several knights still able to fight slowly closed in. The enemy commander called out his name, Tyan Vert. In return, Kyan spoke his name, Boris. Boris wore a smug grin. In an instant, Tyan summoned his sword from thin air. With an ominous aura beginning to rise around him, he asked Boris who had ordered this betrayal. Was it the Emperor? The air grew thick as his energy intensified. Boris raised an arm to shield his face, disgusted by the black fog swirling around Cyan. Seeing it firsthand, Boris realized the rumors were true. Kyan's aura was something unnatural. He sneered, calling Kyan an assassin from Mist, a secretive organization as elusive and deadly as fog to the Knights of Light. Boris planned to report to his superiors that he had purged an impure being aligned with the heathens. But Kyan gave a chilling reply. If Boris managed to survive their fight with his mouth still intact, then maybe he could tell someone. With cold fury, he warned Boris he wouldn't even have a single tooth left by the time he was done. Unshaken, Boris cautioned him. If Kyan planned to unleash that hidden power, he might as well give up. Boris warned Cyan that a ninth-star magic barrier had been cast around the entire area, an elite-level seal. In his mind, Cyan knew he had to escape. He had to uncover the truth and reveal the real traitor to his brother. With fierce, determined eyes, Kyan declared, "Then I'll just pierce through the barrier myself." But before he could act, a commanding voice called out to him, "Stop!" A man clad in shining golden armor stepped onto the field. Cyan's eyes widened in disbelief. The face, it was familiar. Too familiar. His father's words came back again. "Live for the clan." And with that, another truth. Your brother, Ashel, is the extension of the clan. His success is your success. The Golden Knight with flowing blonde hair was none other than Ashel Vert, Cyan's older brother. It hit him like a sword to the chest. Cyan's legs trembled. The traitor behind it all was Ashel. Ashel looked down at his stunned brother and remarked that Kyan must be confused now that he had appeared. Cyan struggled to find words. His voice cracked as he asked, "What is the meaning of this, Ashel?" But Ashel remained calm. He spoke of how Kyan had carried out his duties perfectly, serving the clan, the people, and him. And in that moment, Kyan realized what was coming. Ashel continued, claiming he was merely lifting the burden from his younger brother's shoulders. But Kyan couldn't understand. He pleaded, "Did I do something wrong?" Ashel didn't hesitate. He pointed to the ominous dark fog surrounding Kyan. He called his brother a murderer, and then, more chillingly, questioned whether Kyan was even human anymore. Raising his voice with restrained fury, Ashel accused Cyan of deceiving them all for years. "Can you really say you don't know your sins?" The words murderer and sin echoed in Cyan's mind like thunder. His body trembled, not from fear, but rage. What was Ashel talking about? The succession wars, the raids from the Demon King's armies, the countless battles to unify the continent. Cyan had fought through them all. For Ashel, serving his brother was his life. His fist slammed into the ground with fury. Slowly, Kyan rose to his feet, betrayal burning in his heart. The brother he had lived for was now casting him aside. Dark aura oozed from his body. The cursed fog thickened, no longer restrained by reason, only by rage. Cyan's fury surged, raw and unrelenting, as memories flooded in. 20 years of loyalty, 20 years of fighting like a dog under Ashel's command. Blood pooled at his feet, but he didn't care. Even if his body shattered completely, he would give everything in this moment, even if it meant destroying Ashel. A crimson-red mist exploded from his body, blanketing the battlefield in scarlet and painting the sky with rage. The surrounding knights gasped. How could he still possess that much mana? It was beyond human. Impossible. Cyan's voice cut through the chaos. He declared that the so-called hero was trying to kill his own younger brother, just because he was afraid. He stared at Ashel and asked, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" The question struck a nerve. Veins bulged on Ashel's face as fury overtook him. Cyan didn't wait. He lunged forward at blinding speed. Strike after strike, he pressed the attack, his dagger clashing against Ashel's blade. Cyan begged fate for just one chance. One chance to land a blow, to pierce the weak point that would stop Ashel's regeneration. One chance was all he needed. But then, crack, his most powerful strike was stopped by an unexpected force, a magical barrier. Cyan's eyes darted around. Then he saw it. Boris. He had intervened. Ashel took the opening. "You poor bastard," he said coldly, and drove his sword into Cyan's stomach. The dagger fell from Cyan's grasp. Pain shot through him. Ashel stood over him and muttered, "I was trying to do you a favor, a painless death, because you're my brother." But then his expression darkened. He confessed that he had always known Cyan was a demon, that he never trusted him, not once. Cyan's face twisted in heartbreak. The words cut deeper than any blade. Then, without hesitation, Ashel kicked him backward, forcing the sword to tear out from Cyan's body. And just like that, Ashel turned his back and left, leaving Cyan bleeding on the ground. A dark pool of blood spread beneath him, soaking the earth. The scene mirrored Sung Jin-woo's lowest moment in solo leveling. Cyan lay still, wondering if this was truly the end. "What a foolish life I lived," he muttered as his consciousness began to fade. He called himself an idiot. But then, his eyes flared open. Driven by a final surge of will, he leapt up and charged after Ashel's retreating figure. Ashel sensed the movement and turned just as Cyan roared, unleashing every ounce of his remaining power. His dagger glinted, aimed straight for Ashel's throat, mere inches away. But before the blow could land, a powerful force struck Cyan, flinging him away like a rag doll. His vision went black. Then a voice echoed through the void. "Young Master Cyan!" He jolted awake, gasping for breath, drenched in sweat. A familiar face scolded him. Emily. She told him to get it together, that he had things to prepare for. He blinked in confusion. Emily? He hadn't seen her in 20 years. And yet, here she was, unchanged, just as she was in his youth. Looking around, he recognized the room. Everything. The bed, the furniture, the faint scent of old wood. It was all exactly as he remembered. This was the room from his childhood. Had he gone back in time? Emily snapped him out of it, asking if he was stalling to avoid training. She insisted he make up his mind and get moving. But young Cyan had no idea what she was talking about. Training? He scanned the room once more. Everything confirmed what he was feeling. He had somehow returned to the past. He wondered if this was what people meant by their life flashing before their eyes at the moment of death. He recalled the date. March. Foundation. Year 985. 27 years ago. A year before he entered the academy. It was the day of the Ver clan's annual duel training session. A prestigious event, especially with Duke Vert, his father, attending. His opponent, Cranvert, his half-brother, Same age, but different status. Cran's mother was Margaret Ezet, the Duchess. Cyan, on the other hand, was the bastard son, an outsider within his own family. That day, Cyan had been humiliated, laughed at, and after the duel, his father had stopped paying attention to him entirely. Emily leaned close and whispered, suggesting he surrender. But young Kine only smiled and assured her, "It's okay. I just need to win." To him, her words felt like pity, as if she looked down on him. But Cyan felt something. His rapier, heavy, his body, weak, just like it was at that age, yet everything felt too real. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a dying memory. He'd never heard of a magic spell that could create illusions this vivid. Could this truly be the past? Cran smirked across the training ground, mocking, "Didn't think you'd show up for the duel." But Cyan stared ahead, a thought burning in his mind. This is my chance to rewrite it all. He turned to his father, who raised his hand and declared the match's start. Cran charged first, his sword aimed with overconfidence. "Where are you looking, Cyan?" he shouted. Cyan calmly observed. He's slow, he thought. He took a single step to the side, gracefully evading the strike. Cran's blade missed completely. Flustered, Cran accused him of dodging like a coward, but before he could act again, Cyan struck, swift and precise. His blade slammed into Cran's hand, disarming him. Then, with a fluid motion, Cyan kicked Cran backward. Cran collapsed to the ground, clutching his knees in agony as he groaned in pain. His mother, Margaret, screamed his name in panic from the sidelines. Cyan stood over him, watching coldly. If I just place my blade at his throat, this duel will be over, he thought. But to him that wasn't enough. Memories surged back, Cran bullying him for years, treating him like nothing. It wasn't just in their youth. It continued in the academy, too, day after day. This ends now, Cyan thought, tightening his grip on the sword. He wasn't going to let Cran stand over him ever again. In this life, Cyan decided, he would forge his own path. He would crush anyone who dared to push him down. Cran, trembling, was now sobbing with tears streaming down his face. He looked broken. The result was clear. Cran had lost. Duke Vert stood from his seat and ordered Cyan to meet him. He even cleared his schedule, something rare. Cyan wondered if his victory had truly impressed the Duke that much. He was escorted by Yulin, a high-class knight directly under the Duke's command. That alone told him how serious the Duke was taking this. In the hallway, Cyan encountered Margaret Ezet, Cran's mother. From the look on her face, it was clear she had just spoken to the Duke about her son. Cyan grinned. "Is Cran all right?" he asked, feigning concern. Margaret's face twisted in rage. "You've got some nerve asking that after what you did to your brother," she hissed. "Thick-skinned, aren't you?" Cyan brushed past her casually, muttering, "That's how duels go." For more videos like this, like and subscribe.